Hey everyone, it's Dr. Zora and welcome to another SkillCapped guide. Today we're going to be going over how to improve your team play when playing Valorant. Many players in Valorant tend to focus on their aim and performing well individually, but they really don't spend much time focusing on what will really make you a good Valorant player and allow you to win more games and rank up, which is playing as a team. Valorant is a 5 vs 5 format. You're going to have other players with you, and it's important to acknowledge that and utilize each member of the team in order to give yourself the best chance of success in every single round. We're going to be going over multiple tips that will help you get started on improving your team play so you can better outplay your enemies, win more rounds, and ultimately rank up higher in Valorant. And if you're serious about improving, then go to SkillCapped.com to unlock our hyper improvement system that will teach you how to win more gunfights, master your agent, and so much more. Backed by our rank improvement guarantee, you have nothing to lose. So come join over 500,000 satisfied members of SkillCapped, improve your KDA, and get the rank you've always wanted at SkillCapped.com. Link in the description below. Alright, enough with the hype, let's jump right into the video. First up, in order to improve team play in Valorant, you have to learn to communicate with your team. Without this tip, it's impossible to coordinate with your team members and come up with a plan. Communicating with your team allows you to play a more active role and assists with getting everyone on the same page and getting the most information you can to help you win those rounds. With that being said, there's tons of different kinds of information you could be giving to your team with these comms. The two most important kinds of information include the game plan and where enemies are. Communicating the game plan will ensure that everyone knows what's going on and that there is no confusion on what each player should be doing. These comms don't have to be very complicated either. For example, on attacker side, you can communicate which site you want to attack. Do you want the team to go for A or B? Also, do you want to attack the site fast or go slow and seek out picks first? Or on defense, tell your team where you're going so you don't end up with a weird setup where there's tons of players on A and no one at B. Along with telling the team where you're going, giving suggestions on how many players you want on the site, as well as which agents you want on each site. To add on to that, communicate to your team members on whether you want to play passively on the site or if you want to start off with some aggressive plays to catch enemies by surprise. The second piece of information that is really important to communicate about are enemy locations. If you see an enemy, make sure you let your team know. Hey guys, I just saw one player on A, one player is mid, two players are B, mid is dead, etc. This information lets you have a better idea of where the enemies are, and if you know where the enemies are, you can get a better idea of which site to take and how to approach a site, as well as how to approach defending a site. But you see a lot of players and need to call for rotations. Again, these are just a few examples, but making sure if you have information that you relay it onto your team, and communication is truly the ultimate way to improve your team play in Valorant. Now that we know some general ways of communication to improve team play, learning different strategies that you can do in Valorant is the next step to take your teamwork to another level. We have all seen the classic rush A or rush B on attacker side, and at certain situations these may work, but when they don't, I've seen far too often that players struggle to find any rounds on attack afterwards. Similarly, on defender side, many players tend to use one strategy, and if it fails, they have no idea what to do next. To give a few general strategies to help you guys out, the first thing you need to do is utilize abilities. If you rush a site without using any abilities and the defenders do know how to use abilities, then they're likely going to have a very easy time of holding the sites down and denying your attack. If you're going to rush a site, make sure that you throw smokes at common choke points, you flash out to blind enemies and give yourself a high chance of winning those engagements, and the list goes on. Identify what abilities your team has and find out how to use those abilities to the fullest potential to give yourself that edge and an easier chance of winning. A simple use of abilities can make all the difference in having a strong site rush versus a poor site rush. With that being said, on attacker or defender side, you usually don't want to rush straight in, and you want to try to gain what we call map control. What this concept means is taking important parts of the map away from the enemy, thus giving you more space to go for a site hit on attack or to give the attackers less options to hit a site while you're playing defense. The middle areas of the map are usually the locations that you want to contest first, as they give many options for attackers to split push onto a site or to get fast rotations to pull off a fake hit, in which attackers can then go to the opposite site of where they wanted defenders to think they were going towards. These are just a few basic strategies to start off with, but make sure that you check out the other videos at SkillCapped that will give you all the strategies you could ever want for Valorant. It's always good to have multiple strategies in your toolbox so that if one isn't working, you have others that you can try. Now that we've gone over the importance of strategy to improving team play in Valorant, we need to talk about having a proper team composition to make sure that you can make these plays possible. Duelists are extremely popular right now, and while everyone wants to play them due to their high potential to get kills, you really don't need more than 1 to 2 duelists on your team. Any more than that and you run the risk of having less supportive utility to take a site such as smokes, flashes, or traps. With less utility available, trying to defend or attack a site can become very difficult, and you won't really be able to work as a team without that right composition to allow you to do so. A good team composition includes agents with different roles and a large variety of different abilities to ensure that you have multiple different tools that can be combined together or used individually to assist with attacking or defending. There are multiple team compositions that you can make based on these core factors, but for an example, you could have a team consisting of Jett, Cypher, Brimstone, Sova, and Phoenix. This composition involves agents of multiple roles, and you have plenty of different abilities available. You have smokes from Jett and Brimstone, you have molotovs from Brimstone and Phoenix, you have traps to delay enemies on Cypher, and you have abilities to gather early information on Sova. You can see that there's a lot of variety in these compositions versus a team like Jett, Raze, Reyna, Phoenix, and Sova. The agent roles are too similar here, creating conflict on how you may want to hit a site or defend a site. There's some variety in abilities, but not enough to really make an effective hit onto a site on attacker side or to make a strong defense on defender side. Have a good team composition and you'll find yourself being able to play more coordinated and win more rounds. Coming up next, now that we have a good team composition, we want to make sure that we establish roles within the team. This may be partially done based on the agents that players select, but the agent doesn't fully determine what role each player may be best off with. An example of the roles that players could have include the entry fragger, secondary fragger, support player, in-game leader, and lurker. Make sure that each player gets assigned one of the roles. The entry fragger and secondary fragger will tend to be the duelists, but they could also be players who feel more confident in their aim and will give the highest chance of getting those picks while getting onto a site. Players who are less frag oriented and do best by playing a more supportive or strategical role will want to be more on the back lines and helping to make the fraggers shine and utilize abilities and strategy to get the round win. At the very start of a match, make sure to identify a role for each player on the team so that everyone can better position themselves to create a more coordinated play. If everyone is just trying to run and gun, trying to entry frag at the same time, or if everyone is trying to play a more supportive or leader role where they shouldn't be the first players pushing in, then you'll usually find yourself in situations where enemies could easily get some free picks and kills, or no one ends up pushing and you end up just getting picked off one by one, or the timer just runs out. By having roles and playing in a more structured fashion, you'll be able to push more effectively and everyone gets to focus on a single job versus trying to do everything at once. Last but not least, now that we've mentioned roles, in order to really improve team play in Valorant, you're likely going to want to practice taking the role of in-game leader. This role includes being the one who calls the strategies and plays that you want the team to make, and as a result, you're going to need to practice being very vocal. Many players are hesitant to be the shot caller because they're either afraid that they're going to call the wrong move or they're just shy to talk so much in game. However, if you've practiced this role, you'll start to really learn how to play Valorant at a broader level. Being a player who's running and gunning and getting frags is great and all, but if you don't coordinate plays with the rest of the team or you don't communicate and make team-based plays, you're likely going to plateau at some point. To start off with this role, you usually want to call an initial plan at the start of a round. For example, if you want to go for mid control, call that to your team and tell them how you want to try to take that mid control. On split, you'll likely want to have a few players on each side of mid, so make sure you relay which specific players you want on each side. This then avoids any confusion that could result in players trying to rotate over to the other side when a round has already started. After calling an initial plan, you then want to stay alert at when information presents itself to you, such as your team getting a pick in which you may want to call to push forward onto that site that they were on, or your team ends up getting picked and you spot multiple enemies during a push in which you may want to call to halt the push and fall back to somewhere safer where there may be less players around. By being the aim game leader, you call the shots and many players will usually listen to the calls that someone makes. Again, being very vocal and constantly calling what you want the team to do will allow the team to actually do those plays and moves that you want and give yourself a better chance of winning rounds, improving in Valorant, and ranking up. To give you guys a bonus tip, when all is said and done, make sure that you stay positive at all times to keep that morale up within the team. When a round doesn't end up going in your favor, it can become very easy to get frustrated, or even worse, to portray this frustration through your team comms. Or maybe there was a round that should have been an easy win, but some unfortunate circumstances occur and the enemy ends up clutching it out. In these situations, it's very easy to get negative, and as a result, communication goes down the drain, ultimately resulting in decreased team play. To keep the spirits up, make sure that you continue to speak with high energy and that the communication levels don't go down. If a play went wrong, discuss what could have been done better the next round. If someone loses a clutch, tell them it was a good try and that will win the next one. Likewise, if a good play is made, make sure you acknowledge that as well and tell the team that they did a good job to keep that energy going into the next rounds. It's a simple concept on paper, but being in a good mental state is just as important in Valorant as all the tips that we just mentioned. And remember, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Alright, so on a scale of 0 to 10, how good do you think your team play is in Valorant? Let us know in the comment section below, and while you're down there, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get more premium guides just like this one with one goal in mind, helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next. I'm Dr. Zor, and good luck out there.